delve into dysfunction, and I use myself as an example because a lot of people, they don't like to really look at dysfunctions in their life, but I had to look at them. I taught Psychology 101 and also human development, so that piqued my interest in writing this book. The best part of being a writer is that for me, it was looking at my whole life and other people that's been in my life. You can get this book at Amazon.com. I would like to tell everybody that don't be afraid, because fear is what most people feel in their lives. And if we can have something, anything to comprehend our behavior, if you look at this book, you'll understand that there are a lot of different things in this world that would make you feel like you're dysfunctional, but there's a way to come out of that dysfunction by reading my book.
I thank the Good Bookvine Press for inviting me to this book fair, and thank you for it. It's going fine, little warmer. I am from Northern California, so it's warmer for me. I would focus on the relevance of bringing the life's true historical stories, the historical stories that has been is for the struggle of freedom from the British rule that my family did to free India, and that is close to my heart. And then I wanted to tell this story to the people of the present day and also for the future generation. The best part of being the writer is that I can express my feelings and tell my stories of my family and to the people and give them whatever happened to my life and also to my family. They can buy copies from Amazon, and also if they write, I have a website, if they write to me, they can have it from me. And the focus is again that my stories are historical fiction, and it is very close to my heart. And then I want to tell the story how the family suffered from the British oppression and how they struggled to get India freedom. This is not my family. There are so many other families in India that has done that. So this is the story I want to tell. Amazon, and also you can write in my website, and then I can send personally if they want. Rhythms Primeval is the first book of verses, and that also in Amazon.
This one here, Man with Gun and the Sea of Ulysses, is a combination of both fiction and autobiography. I was curious as to where the dark things in my writing were coming from, and so I started doing a story about my life as well. The other book, Bad Eggs, is a story about people who like to do bad things and pay the price for it. It's actually two LA novellas, both set in Los Angeles, both dealing with crime and people who fall in love with the wrong people. Now, life is awful, and you pay the price for your mistakes, but at the back end you might find a little bright ray of hope. Buy these two books, and I'll have more for you coming down the pipeline. These are available on Amazon. I have a third book that's on there now, and I'm working on two more. The other one on Amazon is called The Magic Hour. It's a story about the worst agent in Hollywood. And then the next two are the Dead Guy in Paradise and The Assassin of Satsuma.
I am the author of Mother Earth Trumps Man. It is a book of 66 poems. It's a story about a man's life who is an outdoorsman, he's a naturalist, and he's a poet. These poems in here are not about me. I created this character to tell a story about how much he loves Mother Earth from an early age on, and he writes poems about it. And then he moved on to finding the woman of his love, and she loved being outdoors, and they loved the outdoors together. Then they had a daughter, and there's poems in here about him and his wife teaching their daughter to love the great outdoors. And then as he got older, he starts to realize that the world is changing. The world is not going to be the same for his grandkids as it was for how he enjoyed it. And he worries about it, and he starts writing poems about how the world is changing and how eventually we will not be here and Mother Nature will still be here. The best part about being a writer is I grew very frustrated by the fact that nothing was being done about the environment. So as a writer, you can write the things that are troubling you in your head. You can put it on paper and get it out of your head. And then if it gets published, and a lot of my poems do, you can share your feelings with the outside world. Also, the great thing about being a poet, the reason I love being a poet, is you can write poetry anywhere. You can write, all you need is a pen, piece of paper, and your imagination. And that is great, because I can have fun at any time. I get an idea, I can put it down on paper, and boom, start thinking about what I want to do. And to create something from nothing is a great gift. You can get copies of this book. It's going to be on Amazon starting next week. If you buy Mother Earth Trumps Man for $10, you get a free book, The Opposite, which is a collection of poems from around the country. So it's a free gift you get too. So if you buy this, you get this.
I'm going to talk to you about my two books, Balanced Leadership and Live as Long as You Dare. I've written both of these in the last 2 years since I retired, although I've been writing Balanced Leadership for over 20 and Live as Long as You Dare for at least 5. Balanced Leadership is about how to be a better leader, more effective. It's as appropriate for a beginner as it is for someone who's experienced, a veteran in leadership. Leadership skills are critical to the success of organizations, companies, teams, and even individuals. So learning how to be a better leader and a better follower is critical to our success. It's worth learning about. I look at leadership through a lens of balance, which means I consider the good and the bad in every decision, and usually there's a good spot, a sweet spot, an optimal decision. It's hard to find because the world is a dynamic place, constantly changing, and what was in balance yesterday and appropriate and optimal today is no longer. So that's what makes leadership, one of the things that makes leadership so challenging, but also so exciting and worthwhile. Live as Long as You Dare is about how to take care of yourself. Most of us don't know how to take care of ourselves, and we'll end up either diabetic, hypertensive, obese, or all three, and other diseases as well. Doesn't have to be that way. There are some simple steps we can take now to change our lives, improve our health, live longer, healthier lives, but we have to look for them. And we have to make them and make them part of our lifestyle. It's not a diet, not something you do for 3 months. It's something you do for the rest of your life. And it starts with attitude, exercise, and of course diet. And the book talks about all of those, how they interact, how they combine together to allow us to live a longer, healthier life. And then none of this will happen unless we dare to do it. We have to dare. The best part of being a writer is helping me put together my thoughts in a constructive manner. What I like to do is solve problems. So I take a problem like how to take care of yourself. It's a huge problem, very complex, a lot of moving parts. Kind of like taking your grandpa's watch apart, to learn how it works, and then put all the pieces on the table. And when you're done, the challenge is how do you put all those pieces back together and make it work? That's the hard part. And with taking care of ourselves is kind of the same. So I go find, I've been collecting pieces of that puzzle for years. And what I do is lay them all out and explain what they are, how they interact, how they fit, and then talk about the fact that many of those pieces either are wrong or missing. So we try and make the watch work, we try and make our lives healthier, and it's a real challenge because we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, and some of the ones that we do have are actually wrong. My books are different. They're different because they're not one-dimensional. Most books that I read today have one thought, one concept, one idea, and then they spend the next 300 pages expounding on that and showing you all the implications of it. Well, that's great, and if you want to read a book on magnesium, please do it. You want to read a book on melatonin, go right ahead. There's a book on it. But the fact of the matter is, taking melatonin and magnesium by themselves is not going to solve our health, not going to help us live longer and healthier. There's a lot of other pieces to the puzzle that we need to do as well. Yes, take magnesium. Yes, take melatonin. They're good pieces. But by themselves, they're not going to do very much. How many people I talk to say, well, I started taking a multivitamin or I started taking magnesium, and I don't notice any difference. Well, that shouldn't be a surprise because one thing isn't going to make a difference. It's got to be lots of things. I love the philosophy of John Wooden, UCLA coach, basketball coach, most winning coach in the history of organized sport. His philosophy with his players was every day add one little thing to your game to make you better. Both books are available on Amazon, so go to Amazon and look them up.